Hello everybody, welcome to enemymilitary.com. Today we're going to be discussing Chinese entrenching tools of the Korean War and the Vietnam War. When the Chinese People's Volunteers entered Korea, they had a couple of different types of entrenching tools. The first one that you see here is the long-handled one. That one is about 25 3/4 inches long overall. The handle sticking out of the bottom of the steel is about 14.5 inches. Those you can see carried in photographs strapped to the outside of the pack, not carried in any sort of carrier or cover. The other kind of entrenching tool that they had was the shorter handle. That one is the one in the middle here. That particular entrenching tool is about 23 inches long with about 12 inches of wood sticking out of the bottom of the steel itself. You'll notice that one has a couple of holes in the entrenching tool itself. The idea behind that was similar to what the Japanese did in World War II. With those holes, you could actually use a string or cord or something like that to pass through the blade of the carrier or blade of the shovel itself and just carry it slung over your shoulder. These were called, most recently that we've seen, the model 1950 entrenching tool. We've sort of seen that being used. Had not heard that until the last few years, but that was sort of a standard Chinese entrenching tool. They were carried in leather carriers on the belt. We'll show those carriers here in just a little bit. The last two entrenching tools that you'll see here and there are Chinese entrenching tools made for the Vietnam War, at least during that time period. The two examples you see there on the table actually have Vietnamese names carved in it, and we'll show those to you. Those are about 19.5 inches overall, with about either 8 1/4 or 9 inches of wood sticking out from the bottom of the metal. Okay, so the first shovel that we're going to show you is actually a lighter shovel, even though it's bigger than the other ones. The gauge of the steel is a little bit thinner, and you'll notice that as we pick it up, it has still some green paint on it on both sides. It's got a marking right here that is sort of a triangle with 3 little stars in it. We didn't find any other markings than that. And it looks to me like they used a rivet to hold the handle in place. This one again does not have any holes drilled through it, and it was carried worn on the back of the pack, sort of like that, so you can see it. The next entrenching tool that we'll take a look at and show you is the so-called Model 1950. This one you can see has got weld all the way around to hold the blade onto the shaft of the handle itself. This has 2 holes in it. There's a metal band that's wrapped around the base of the handle that's welded. And you see the end piece is very flat with some recess here that also is very square. It forms a 90-degree angle. Didn't find any markings on that one. Just an interesting entrenching tool. This one is held in place by a screw rather than a rivet, as we saw in the other ones. The next entrenching tool we'll show you is a pretty well-worn Chinese entrenching tool from the Korean War. Again, it has weld that holds the shovel together. And then it's got a screw here and a metal weld right here. This one has a Vietnamese name on it, TINH, as well as an H6, which is a unit designation. This one is not 90 degrees on the end, and certainly not 90 degrees here when it was made. It's got a little bit fatter handle than the other one. Finally, we're going to show you an entrenching tool from the Vietnam War that still has most of the paint on it. We've seen other colors of paint on e-tools from Vietnam that had a different shade. Again, this one has got a hole drilled in it. The name on this one is TAI. Same sort of carving, or actually millwork on the handle itself here. The other thing that we'll notice about the entrenching tools is some of the tools, the flange comes back towards what we would call the bottom of the shovel, whereas In the first Chinese entrenching tool we showed you from the Korean War, the flange or the fold of the steel is upwards. We said earlier that these entrenching tools were carried in carriers during the Korean War as well as the Vietnam War. This is one of the different types of carriers that was used. This is a standard carrier. It's got belt loops on the back. It's riveted with sewn construction. It has different pieces of leather here to reinforce it and actually make the leather thicker. A brass button. There's some Chinese markings here, perhaps on the inside as well. The leather is kind of stiff. We have seen these used in Vietnam. In fact, we saw one in a photograph, and we've seen one in person that's really sort of a dark brown color, indicating it's been wet and dried several times and actually well used. The other type of carrier that we have to show you today is a canvas and leather one. This one has got a little bit of rust in the inside where the tool would go. It's got a leather tab here along with what appears to be a brass stud with vertebra on it, as well as a wide belt loop to carry it on the back of the shovel. Shovel drops through here. The tab is pressed in place, and there you go. The final cover that we have to show you is not really a carrier. It's actually just a cover. And you can see the outline of the shovel where it's been, the flange pieces from the bottom of the shovel. So this would simply fold up, and then you could tie this around the handle. Not exactly sure why this was made this way. We don't find any evidence that there was a belt loop on the back of it. And if you've looked at our website, you've seen that a lot of the North Vietnamese packs that we have actually have a little loop and tie string on the bottom of the pack itself, just to suspend the entrenching tool at the bottom of the NVA pack. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's the Chinese entrenching tools of the Korean War and the Vietnam War. Have a great day.